but
Yeah, I'll go get the label maker and we'll put a little label on that.
Okay, that'd be cool.
every night there's
How long
always
does it
other
take to
activities.
start
The
up?
11th there seems to be a lot,
Probably is
but
Yeah.
since it's digital.
we'll just have to.
Okay.
It's all
pick
sorted up.
something
I
and go
mean,
with it.
Do
there's
Mondays
power
not work?
switches
Do
for these
Mondays
individual
not work?
components, but you don't really need.
So
I'm
you've got the
doing
frequency
the
around
yeah.
reversal.
so you make sure you're not on the same frequency.
Yeah, I set up the frequencies at our shop. It has a frequency scan, so it scanned the air, and I can do that again here to make sure that there's no other, wireless microphones in the area that happen to be on the same frequency.
Yeah, because the only thing I can think of is something over there might be.
Well, there definitely could be in
Yeah.
the school. So
How many total wireless mics can this handle?
there are currently 5.
Currently, but if we wanted to add more to it.
The antenna distribution can accommodate up to 8 as it is. So all the antennas are combined using these antenna distribution units into 2 antennas. And then we got you the paddle antennas, which are in that white box right here. I'll show you these. And in that case, there are some coaxial cables. These antennas give very good
BNC connectors.
BNC connectors. So if you want to take these off the front there, hook those up.
Type of range do the paddle antennas give you?
A lot of range.
Talking
what I was
50
thinking,
yards,
actually.
60
Football
yards,
field. These
higher
are
100
used.
yards, or?
These are used at the Super Bowl. So
Okay.
they're the type of antennas that are used for major concerts, major events. They thread onto a microphone stand, which I'll get for you.
Is it easy and quick to change the frequency? Because when we go to concerts, there's going to be multiple bands with a setup like this.
Sure.
So if we hear something else coming through, we can.
Well, what you can do is when you set up, you can look on the front and it'll show you.
Oh, okay.
So let's get an antenna hooked up. You have 2 of these. So you would point this in the direction of where you're going to be using it on a microphone stand. And let's just look at our frequencies real quick. This AF level on the side is going to show you if there's any junk in the air.
Okay.
So let's get a wireless microphone. Let's get out of that case. Let's grab the wireless mic of your choice.
Oops, sorry.
And I think one of them has batteries in it. I can
Probably
get
not
some
this
more.
one. Because it doesn't look like it's been opened.
Okay. I think the amber one had batteries in it. And I got more batteries in it.
Number? Okay.
Let me run out and get some more batteries.
What kind of batteries do you need?
They are AA, but I have.
I have.
You have some? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, it does have batteries in it.
That one does? Okay. So,
And it looks like they're in there for our books.
So we're gonna need a slew of extra batteries, or can these take rechargeable batteries?
they can take nickel metal hydride and AMH
Okay.
batteries.
How long do batteries last?
Depends on how much you use them. It has a battery meter on here once we get one fired up. Okay, so you figured it out. You push and hold. So now you can see down
For
here.
every performance, all
Yeah.
of them. It's not
I
worth
said,
it.
you
On this
either
side-
do that, or they said they can take rechargeable.
level.
You have RF, that's how strong your
for
RF
the
signal and radio
performance, too.
signal is. You have 4 bars in the battery. And if
We
you
have
hook up the
3 football
microphone,
games to
grab
practice
that microphone
this
out of that packaging.
But let's get it right on the first one.
Yes.
So can everybody see here real quick?
Yep.
On the right side, you'll notice that these other microphones are not turned on. There's nothing really jumping on this RF side, the radio side.
Okay.
That means you don't have any interference on these channels right now. On this one that's turned on, you have full level on the radio. So that tells you how strong your radio signal is. Now if we plug in a microphone, you'll start to see this little audio side bouncing up and down. Yeah, it should just go straight down.
There we go.
So now,
There we go.
so let's hook up a speaker so we can hear ourselves. So If you want to, if you want to take this side and plug it into the back of the speaker there,
Right or left doesn't matter.
doesn't matter.
I like those easy connects.
Yeah, these are called speak-on. You can't. They lock. They can't short out. They're a professional connection. Does somebody want to try putting it into one of these jacks here? They twist and lock.
Oh,
Unlock, just pull it back.
Yep.
nice.
Nice.
So there's no digging in. There's no taking this back off and trying to find it in the back of the amplifier. It's just right there. And it is right and left, but it doesn't really matter.
If it starts to rain or something, how,
You'll want to cover it up if it's
cover the
yeah.
side too, or the top obviously, but the side part?
Yeah, I would just close the rack up and move it to a different place. Okay. So each one of these has an on button.
Okay.
So
Some quick ready.
Testing.
we're going to.
Because it could, like Columbus, it rained in the middle of the performance.
We are currently.
Testing.
Go ahead and talk.
Testing. And see it on the meter, at least, the mixer.
Stereo. Getting it in.
Testing. Just not going as a speaker.
Okay, this is not locked right here. Oh, yeah, it is.
Testing. Yes and no. Testing.
Let's see if something got
We'll have
jostled.
to figure
Yeah, I was
out
gonna say,
ways
that's
to
the only
hide
thing
that
I
in the
can
kids'
think of that could
uniforms,
potentially
so
happen.
it just comes out enough,
Because I've seen it on the mixer.
clips on.
So I'm showing
Yeah,
levels.
just Nathan.
That quartet too. That's why we have 5.
What are we hooking up to the mallets?
Well, the mallets are going to be hardwired,
Okay.
bigger mics.
This-
So these are just for soloists.
Testing. There we go.
Okay, so this has got a twist and lock here.
Oh,
So
it's
twist and
in.
locks.
Oh. Here, let me.
Not that we would blame Andrew for anything.
Okay, so N like that.
Yep.
You don't have to hold that piece
Okay.
and just twist.
Yep.
There you go.
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
Isn't that
Yeah,
easy?
that's it.
That's awesome.
Can't be pulled out.
Get it.
Yay, good
There
job.
you go. I'm gonna forget. That's why she's.
That's why it's recording.
That's
Okay.
where,
Now you can always talk to your students really loud now.
you could wear one of those on the field.
This would work better.
Yes.
Then,
Well, for the expo,
We
this
just-
would have been great.
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Fun.
Would have been.
And will be.
Will be.
Will be, exactly. It's an investment on the whole thing.
Exactly. Okay.
But you can see with a glance, you can tell how much battery power you have left. You can see how strong your radio signal is, and you can see your audio level here. Also, let's do a quick overview of the mixer here.
Go ahead.
No, you get
Anybody who's going to be
close.
operating the mixer, definitely let's.
Well, that's what's what the video's for
Okay.
also.
So starting at the top, we have some buttons under here that you're not going to really use. They're covered up by the right angle connectors. I had to lower this down and use right angle connectors so the top would fit on with this particular mixer. So that's why I use the right angle connectors. But below here you have a pad which knocks down really strong signals, which you're probably not going to use because the wireless mics are set up the way they are. If you had a kick drum or if you had a bass guitar
It's so
or something
very-
that's really super loud, you would hit that pad and it
Okay.
would knock it down 20 decibels. You have it's called a high pass filter. That gets rid of low frequency rumble, like wind noise, peas, pops. I have that pushed down on all these because I assume there's not going to be anything super low, bassy coming in from a horn instrument or whatnot.
No.
So that'll help eliminate wind noise, rumble, that sort of thing. So that's those two buttons.
Those just snap right in. Just,
Yep, they snap right in. We have a gain knob. The gain is the preamplifier. So I usually keep that about noon for most microphones. And what you can do with this button will show you the levels of this particular channel. So like, let's go to the one that's turned on here. If we push this, it stands for pre-fade listen. If you push that, it'll show you the levels on this channel only. So you can see that we're not super hot, we're not super low. If you need to go up a little bit more, you can take this gain and you can bump it up a little bit.
Especially some of your quieter instruments, you may have
Right.
to turn that
The
gain up a little
flute
bit.
would have to be up
Flute,
more than
Right.
everything
yeah.
else.
And so what you do is, if this is a flute channel, you hit this button and you can see, oh, my flute's really low. So we need to turn this up a little bit.
Okay.
But most of it's already kind of preset to a good general zone, but you may have to adjust those. So that's the gain or the preamplifier is the first knob. This mixer has a compressor. A compressor is kind of like an automatic volume control. So if you have a very strong, typically it's used with singers. If you have a singer who is very low and then can really start to belt out, you don't want that super wide dynamic range. You can kind of play with this. It's a simplified one knob compression. If you have instruments that have very wide dynamics, something that's going to be very quiet at some points and very loud at other points, this will kind of help level that out. So it's kind of like an automatic volume control. Instead of being like, oh, whoa, going up and down, this is that's what a compressor does. It reduces a dynamic range of the instrument or a singer.
So
Right now they're off.
It's gonna keep everybody kind of the same.
Right, it's going to keep,
area.
well, it's going to keep that particular
That
channel,
channel.
about this. Well, it'll still be quiet if it's quiet, but if it gets super loud, it'll turn it down.
Okay.
So,
Lock down the output.
and maybe I can show you on the whiteboard kind of how it works, but
Okay.
it gets to a certain threshold and then it kind of levels it out. So it's a simplified one knob compression that Yamaha puts on their mixers, and if it's turned all the way down, it's off. So you can adjust it accordingly if you see fit. So that's the compressor. Next is we have 3 bands of equalization, so bass, middle, and treble. So if you want to maybe talk into that one.
Hello, hello,
See, it's more-
hello, testing, we're testing new sound system.
So you have mid, you have high frequency, you have mids, and you have lows. The middle frequency you can actually this is called a sweepable mid. You can pick the frequency, so people can hear from 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz in the frequency spectrum. You can pick the frequency in the middle at which this mid frequency is turning up and down. You probably won't use that a lot, but you can see between 250 hertz and 5 kilohertz. You can pick and turn it down at any one of those frequencies in the middle. So that usually use that with singers who may have a
The best tones.
honky, yeah. Depending on people's voices, if something sounds strange, you can find the frequency and turn it up or down. For band type instruments, I would think you would not really want to mess with that. You'd probably want to leave the tonality as they are. If you have good instruments, usually you don't want to try to mess with how they sound on a mixer. But, so that's equalization. So bass, think bass, middle, or high, mid, and bass. Next we have auxiliary sends, which we're not using, but they are additional outputs to the mixer that can be used to go to other places, like stage monitors, or another set of speakers, or a recording. So you have 2 of those, and you can say, if you had a portable recorder, or you had a monitor, stage monitor, or something like that, you could plug it out of this auxiliary one, go to that, then you'd have independent volume control of all these channels. Regardless of what's down here, you have independent volume control of all your input channels. So typically that's used, like if you see a musician on stage, you have the main speakers for the audience, then you have the speakers on the floor that's pointed back at the musician so that they can hear. Those are usually run off of an auxiliary send. And so the lead singer can say, okay, turn me up more. The bass guitar player might be here, turn the bass guitar up more, that sort of thing. You have actually 4 auxiliary sends.
So you have 4 outputs.
Four additional outputs that have independent volume controls for each channel. So it's kind of like a matrix. So that's that. Next we have a left-right pan. We have 2 speakers, so we can choose how much If you want it only to go to the left, if you want this channel to only go to the left speaker, you can turn it all the way left. If you want it to go only to the right, see it, this is, we happen to be on the left speaker. Now it's totally off. Now we're panning over to the,
Testing.
so if we had the other speaker here, you could pan back and forth.
There's a lot of
I
things you
can
can
see
play
that from
with.
positional.
Right. Typically, I don't do a lot
Side of the
with,
field.
typically I don't do a lot with panning, but it's there. You can use it if you want to have more of a certain instrument on this side and more of a certain instrument on this side. It's up to you. Okay, we have a channel on-off button. So it's a mute, basically, turn it on and off. Then we have our main volume fader. These buttons here are these are called subgroups. These are a way to organize inputs. So let's say you wanted to put, a certain type of instrument on this volume control and a certain other type of instrument on this volume control. You could route these to these different groups. Typically, I'm just going to say the red button assigns it to the stereo output, which is the main output. So typically, I'm just going to have all these buttons pushed down, and then you have one volume control there. Let's say you wanted to put the wind instruments here, you could, and you wanted to put the brass instruments here, you could.
That might be.
That's what I was thinking.
Right, and then you can turn them on and off. So you could turn all of them on and off independently.
One could be that quartet for the second, one could be the flute, and then the front line.
So then instead of
This is the master.
the kid having to push all of these buttons on, he
Right.
can just push.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Because
I see what you're saying, yeah.
when the quartet is done and they're fading into the group, that quartet can go together. That
Sure.
flute could be something like that.
And so, okay, so how you would do that? Let's say these are the two ones you want going to group 1 and 2.
Okay.
We're gonna undo all these, and we're gonna route that. We're gonna make sure this is not going to the stereo. We're gonna route this to 1 and 2. So now this channel and this channel are going only to here.
Okay.
Let's do it with an active channel so you can hear the difference. So now you can't hear yourself,
Test.
but we're routing to 1 and 2.
Test.
So I'm gonna turn 1 and 2 on,
Test.
and now
Test.
we can turn that on and off from there.
That's cool.
And then we can cut you off. No.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
And you can see this also has a stereo assigned, so if that button's not pushed, this button's saying, okay, send this to here, so that needs to be down.
Test.
So you can still go on both speakers, but
Right.
have independent volume controls for
Right,
different levels.
exactly.
Okay.
Also, this has these group outputs, so if you wanted to not assign this to the stereo for some reason, you wanted these to go somewhere else, you could do that as well. I don't really see using that, but you could. But yeah, that's what the groups are for, organizing inputs based on how your function. We have a headphone jack right there. If you want headphones, there's a volume control for the headphones. When you hit this PFL button, it isolates to the headphones as well, this channel.
Okay.
So if you're hearing a buzz or you're hearing something kind of strange and you want to say, where's that coming from? You can
You can
say,
figure out which one.
put your headphones on. Okay, it's not there. Okay, it's not there. Okay, it's right there. I can hear it in my headphones.
That'd be good to have. Change something in the middle of performance. We have
Sure.
to-
Or is something not tight, is, troubleshooting.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's the main features.
Maybe some-
We have up to 10 of the microphone type XLR inputs. This system is set up for actually 3 more wireless mics in the future. Because we're at 5, we can go up to 8. The cabling is all ready to go inside for the antennas. There's the extra. I believe there's some extra coaxial cable in that wireless microphone case, but it's basically ready to set up to go up to 8 if you want to.
To go up to 8, what do you need to buy?
Just 3 more wireless microphone systems.
Just the mic? The
mic,
mics or the mics and
transmitter
the-
and the receivers.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean they're color coded. So
I would
you can
think
kinda-
at most years 5 is good, because this is more than,
Yeah.
because last year we had 3,
Correct.
and that was quite a bit, so.
But you never know what your show's gonna be in the
Right,
future.
but we're set up pretty good.
Yeah.
We're set up pretty
That's
good.
the main features, really.
Okay.
Like I said, it's designed to keep the back on, so you don't really need to get back there and mess with anything. But I can kind of give you an overview if you want to see. I color coded the other end of the the wireless mic,
my
so you know
word.
which one's which. These are all the antenna cables that are going up to the antenna distribution. This one is basically chained off this one, so, and then this one's main outputs go to the antennas. These are the power supplies for the antenna distribution units. This is the power amplifier, so that's what makes it louder. This is just coming down from the mixer. And then I just put this wiring in here to this box.
But we shouldn't have to add anything here unless we added more stuff completely or something.
Right.
But otherwise, we
Yep.
should just
Leave it alone, pretty much.
don't touch it.
Off limits.
Yeah. Well, you can see up where I put these red zip ties, these are the plugs for additional wireless mic systems. So the power for these wireless mics are actually coming off these units as well, so that there's not a whole bunch of wall warts, whole power supplies. It's all powered off the main unit. You do have additional electrical power plugs up here, and there's a courtesy electrical power plug on the front, so you can plug in your phone charger or whatnot. Which is what I always use it for.
Don't want it to die after the show's over.
Exactly. So, I mean, that's really it. I mean,
We'll have to put something on there. Leave this alone. Do not take this door off.
well, as much signs as I've seen put up, people still get in the back.
People don't read.
It's true. Maybe we should
But,
some sort of shock.
So this level of hum here is normal?
yeah, there's a certain amount of, noise floor to, when you have open microphones and you have audio equipment. You can turn the gain down a little bit and crank it up a little bit more.
I'm not in front of it, so
But-
I'm not hearing it.
I mean, you hear that?
Yeah, there's a certain noise floor too.
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that was
Yeah.
normal. I
Yeah.
just,
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
just
normal.
to double check.
That was the lights.
Following students, please report to the office. Amanda Nelson.
So I'm gonna go get another speaker for you. I'm gonna go get
Okay.
speaker
Stephen
stands.
Powell.
I'm gonna go get microphone
Nicholas
stands.
Westwood, Lindsay,
Uh,
We're looking
Lindsay,
up this.
Thomas Matea,
Yeah, let's do
Megan
that.
Bozak,
for the
Riley Woodward, Ryan Minetti,
for the mallet instrument.
Lisa
have
Hosvodka,
those.
John
Yeah,
Perkins,
these,
and David Kirchner to the office